Welcome to Channel Make your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel? And turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now today's video is, I'm gonna update a very generic information and news in regards to the world of Australian immigrations. There are a couple of news I'd like to go through with you. There is no policy updates and changes, unfortunately, but make sure you subscribe. So I believe in the coming week and on the weekend, especially on the 25th of November, the employment sponsor expansion policy will be out there, and I'll do a special report and video on that one there. Okay, now let's get some update. Obviously 2023 we have gone to November now and moving into Christmas, almost to the end of 2023. It's been a roller coaster. It was expected at the beginning of this year that the further expansion and open up of the migration policy will be there. Introduce of the migration review report on late April, expecting a lot of new changes, exciting. And then we hit the refresh of the financial year on the 1st July. Until today, not much had happened. Remember back then, Western Australia was the first one hands up in with a new policy seeking for more state nominations. And then I think 24 hours or a little bit more than that, federal government basically slap the Western Australia government premier on the face and said, no, you're not going to do it. We're going to cut 70% of the state quota. And then further onwards, obviously, not just Western Australia, it's all across the whole Australia. And today, the 189, the independent skill migration, is not even opened up. No invitation round has been announced. So what's going to happen? Let's have a look. There's more than what you imagine. There's a lot of politics in here. Now, the first news I want to bring to you is from Sky News. Obviously, Sky News has been a big criticizer the current Albanese government. Now, obviously, if you have followed the news, I don't know as long as there's still many people watching news nowadays, as being a so-called housing crisis, right? So the housing crisis has been on the burden of the current Prime Minister, Albanese government. So the title says it all. I'm not going to read the whole content of this news. You may want to Google, have read, but the title basically says it all. What does it say? It says immigration is shaping to become Anthony Albanese's Achilles heel. Now, if you know what Achilles heel is, it's basically the disadvantage point where it's once you hit, the entire governing body will collapse. That's basically what it's trying to describe for the next election, which is a year and a half to go. I think it will be by the end of 2024. The both side of the government will go into an election again. Okay, as Labor fumbles on a 19th settlement and a detainee release. So the detainee release, it's not too much related to what our topic is. It's basically what the government of Australia has been detaining criminals who is not Australian citizens. But I believe that, so you may question, so why don't they deport them? Now, they have committed the crime. I think the scenario should be this. They are still in the process of investigating the crime detail. Now, the problem is the procedure on investigating the crime detail, and plus including the appealing process in the court, take so long, and these people are still unsure in one of the, whether it's got a detention center or so-called correctional center or jail, an easier term, in Australia. So it has become a lot of problem. So what had happened, and I think last week the High Court had ruled that you cannot indefinite detain these people, so they need to release them. Now it becomes a problem there. So you see, all of this will become political debate and causing the stability and also the credibility of the current Anthony Albanese government. All right, so that's the first one. Secondly, I want to draw your attention to the job skill Australia. Remember, when the current government got on board, they had held a job and skill summit on September of 2022. A lot of people agree to form Job and Skill Australia to basically giving the public of Australia the what's happening in the current situation on whether the employment rate, job, skill needed, and blah blah blah. So last week they have actually released some information, and this one I wanted to share with you. It's a little bit funny, but this is a lot of these courses is not open up for international students. Whether or not they're gonna open it, I don't know. There's currently a lot of money has been thrown into the trades courses for the Australians. But if you have followed my channel long enough, you may notice there's less than 50% of them actually complete those courses, even though it's free. Okay, so sometimes giving out free is not really the good way to resolve things. Okay, so this chart basically tells us the top 20 courses associated with the highest percentage of the student employed after training. So if you take these courses, you got better chance get jobs. So the first one, certificate 3 on correctional practice. Now you may ask, what is correctional practice? Correctional practice is basically jobs at the correctional center. And what is correctional center? It's the jail. It's a prison. I'm not too sure. I don't think the course is open for international students, but it's funny, isn't it? Well, if you want to secure jobs, that's where to go. Prison. Not a good way to promote it. Okay, the second one is engineering, heavy, and third one, I'll just read them down. Heavy commercial vehicle, engineering, tool making, trade, leadership management, vet nursing, project management, first aid, electrotechnology, electrician, so that's for electrician, training assessment, health, work and health safety, human resource management, plumbing, nursing, refrigerating, air conditioning, civil construction, light vehicles. So heavy and light vehicle is one of the needed. Telecommunication technology, disability, and driving operation. I'm not too sure what driving operation is all about. Probably more related to manufacturing, but that's for trade courses. But again, what we have just read through, I think 80 to 90% of those certificate and courses are not open for international students. So why on earth does Job and Skill Australia wanted to announce this? Look, I'm not too sure. Announcing this would help Australians, perhaps in a way, or perhaps it's a way to show that they maybe open up these opportunity to international students. Don't know whether or not the numbers stack up for the locals, perhaps. Okay. Now the next one, a lot of people ask about. How long would this visa go? And they always want to go to global processing and check out each of visa processing times. So the Freedom of Information has actually released how the department calculate average visa processing time. So I thought it's worthwhile to share with you guys. But it's basically you know the great thing about government love to write stuff, but sometimes when they write, you can see a lot of words and sentences, but it actually brings no meaning for life. Let me have a read and you will see what I meant. Okay, so how the department calculate average visa processing? The first point, visa application processing time are representing a percentile calculated from all visa grant refusal decision for primary applicant in the previous month requesting report period. Well, that's pretty obvious. We don't need to know about that. Again, that's why I'm trying to say they are very good at writing something which has no meaning. Okay, doesn't answer the question. Okay, the second point, for all visa subclasses except second stage partner, the processing time is calculated from the date of lodgement of the date to the date of decision. Duh, of course. Okay, second stage partner are calculated from their eligibility to the day of decision. Well, we know that. I mean, average person will know that. Why do they write that? So 2 points has no meaning. Okay, the third point, on Home Affairs website, visa process overview page, the department published medium 50 percentile processing times. Well, that still doesn't answer doesn't answer anything. We want to know how you calculate it. Okay. Well, okay. Now the fourth point, visa processing time usually reflect to the time it takes to process and complete application. Again, that didn't the second point already say that? Okay. However, there are smaller number of complex or incomplete visa application would take longer, which can distort the time it takes to processing a typical application. A medium is the much better measure at the time how long it takes to process a typical complete visa application, as medium is not distorted by the complex and incomplete application. You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? I mean, the government officials, they are well trained to provide information that has no meaning. and that is why a lot of people trying to read the departmental's website and DIY the visa application, and then they feel hopeless and helpless. They don't know where to go. It's because of that. You just read something that has complete no meaning. It's better just not reading it, right? Anyway, last but not least, I want to bring you to this important news. It came out, I think 2 weeks ago. I had a plan to share this with you, but just didn't have the time, as I had to go on road trip on events. Okay, so this is about Australian biosecurity. So if you hold a visa and coming into Australia, now that including permanent residency, make sure you don't do that too, because you may have your visa cancelled at the airport gates. Okay, so visitors to Australia could now lose their visa if they hide plant or animal products in luggage. Okay, new regulation at concealing goods that require a permit as a reason to cancel access of visitor, including student and temporary workers. Okay, I think it will extend to permanent resident as well. It doesn't mean if you're an Australian citizen or permanent resident, then you can conceal and you can do the bad thing. I think this is more than news, just to give it a little bit of the scars and intensity for the readers. But as you can see, the new regulation at concealing goods, that means, what does a concealing good means? You hide it somewhere. Perhaps the biosecurity, the Australian Border Force cannot find it, or you do not declare it. But later on, if they find it, okay, then you're liable for potential visa cancellation. So now including student, working holiday makers, maritime crew, temporary worker, maritime crew. That means the aircraft's attendants. Okay. In December, Biosecurity Act has amended to create new civil penalty provision, bring or import conditional prohibited goods. So what is it that's important that you need to do? Okay, here, let me tell you. Everyone that flies into Australia, there is a declaring form. Now, read it carefully. There are multiple different languages that you can actually request from the flight attendants or whatever which airline that is. Or even before you walks into the gate, you can actually still pick those goods decoration card on whatever the table or desk. Okay, read them carefully. Okay, if you're not sure. You whether have that or that, you're not too sure, it's better that you tick yes and declare it. and let the Australian Border Force take you to a particular officer and just say, look, I'm not too sure, but this is the whatever it is. Okay, if it's not permitted, then they will tell you you need to dump it and throw it away. So make sure you do that. So next time you're flying in, if you're not too sure, you don't hide things. Do not hide things. Do not take no and hide the stuff. Just pretend you don't even know that you had those stuff. If you got found out, you know how the technology had evolved. They are laser, they are whatever it is, and also including AI nowadays. If you get found out and you did not declare it, that means you're concealing information. Then you're gone. You'll be deported straight away. Okay, so this is very important stuff that I want to share with you. And should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.